Okay, I'd like to talk about circulation. I wonder what it brings up for you when I say that word, circulation. Let me tell you what I was thinking of when that word came up. It was about the circulation of money. So, um, we live at a time when, on the one hand, you have some people who charge enormous amounts of money for a goods or a service that they offer. And then there are people, and some of those who do charge exorbitant amounts of money also do this, and that is they also provide a lot of stuff for free. Now, you could debate whether the stuff that they offer is of value. Some people would say that it's of incredible value, and others might say, no, it wasn't worth the piece of paper or the bit of screen that it occupied. So, there are so many ways in which people can respond to things that are offered to them, whether they are free or whether they cost a lot or whether they cost a little, whether you consider the cost reasonable or unreasonable. But the one thing I think that is common in all of this is that there is some circulation. And you could say that the circulation is of energy. There are people who consider money to be a form of energy. And how do I think of it? Well, if you accept that everything ultimately is energy, and let's just say that we use the word energy because we've nothing better. We don't know a different word. I tend to think of the ultimate nature of reality, and whether we want to describe that as energy or consciousness or God or whatever. I don't know, these are words that we use, and words are always symbols, meaning they're not the exact thing themselves. Like an icon on a desktop is just a symbol. It's not the actual application. It's a symbol for the application, and when you click on the icon, then you open up the application. And what you see on the screen, again, can you say that that's what the application... Let's say you open a Word document, for example. Would you say that what you see on the screen is the actual Word document? Or is the Word document something else again? Is it the programming or the coding behind it? Or is it all of that, a mixture of all of that? I don't know, but what I do know is that we use words as symbols, and so when it comes to money, and we say that money, right, is a symbol for energy, or it is a form of energy. Okay, cool. Right, let's work with that. And so when I was talking about those things that people offer, whether for free or for small amounts of money or for huge amounts of money, there is energy being circulated. Now let's think about this, because let's say you give me a product or a service and I receive it. Now, does the circulation stop there? Or is there some way that circulation is flowing? This is really a very interesting thing, don't you think? Because when you receive something for free, does the circulation stop? Or does it keep going? And if it keeps going, how exactly does it keep going? You know, something that I've always told the people that I've worked with is that I never want to receive any money from them if they're giving it grudgingly, if they're feeling discomfort while giving it, if they are unhappy about giving it or unwilling to give it. You know, I've always said, please don't give me money if you're feeling that way. If you do decide to give me money, then give it willingly and joyously. And I think that's really important because it keeps going. And when I receive the money, I can pay for my bills. Well, not entirely, but, you know, I do use it for things such as paying for my bills. And so it continues to flow on. You know, the circulation keeps going. So I guess, where am I going with all of this? I really think that, I used to think that everything in the world, everything should be free. And to some degree, I still think that. But that was only because, and that is only because, I feel that, you know, money is not equally available to everyone. Some people are born into the world, into families with very little money, if any. And so they have to scrounge and, you know, just to breathe. And I think that's dreadful. I really do. I mean, I think, you know, if you were to look at all the money that's available in the world, I'm sure there is more than enough to make sure that nobody is struggling, that nobody is out on the streets. And I do see people in it, you know, it saddens me deeply when I see people lying on the street, on the sidewalks. The other day, when I was walking through the city, I saw, you know, on the footpath just outside a great big store, old blankets and bits and pieces of somebody's belonging. The person themselves wasn't there, but these bits and pieces were there. And I just thought to myself, you know, how is this happening in this world when we have an abundance of resources and we still have people who don't have a safe place that they can call home. So, as I was saying, I do believe that everything should be freely available. On the other hand, no, it's not on the other hand, but if we were to look at money as a form of energy, and, you know, if the energy doesn't circulate, then what happens? It gets stuck. And you know that when energy gets stuck in our bodies, we feel dis-ease, right? And I think it's the same with money. And so when we have a stagnation or a stuckness in the flow of money, it makes for a very unstable and unhealthy world. You know? So when I think of money as energy, and energy that needs to keep flowing, because that is the nature of life, we're always in a constant change. Daylight becomes nighttime, brightness becomes dark, dryness at some point gives way to rain. It rained here today for a little bit. And, I always love the rain. But I digress. Or maybe not. They're all forms of circulation. They're all forms of the ebb and flow of life, the movement, the circulation of life in all its different forms, in all the different forms of energy. Speaking is a form of energy. Sharing something, sharing knowledge is sharing a form of energy. Alrighty, I think I've said enough. Would be lovely to hear your thoughts on this, and so please do feel you're very much invited to share a comment. And in the meantime, wherever you are, whatever form life's energy is taking, whether it's day or night for you, I just hope and wish you the health and well-being of circulation, of not being stuck anywhere and not having anything in your life being stuck. Bye for now.